Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. For today's webinar, I am very pleased to introduce you to Serge Isambert, who is an expert in CATIA engineering solutions.
Hello, Anne, and thank you for receiving me today.
You're welcome. Today, Serge will present what is new on core engineering for the R2019x release. I already noticed very nice enhancements on the user interface and the 3D tolerancing and annotation browsing app available for everyone, among many others in other enhancements. As usual, Serge will answer your question after his presentation, and we will publish the webinar recording, in addition to all questions and answers, in the CATIA user community. You will get the URL link at the end of the episode. And this is where you can find answers, leave comments, or ask new questions if you want, and we will answer you. You can also write to katia.contact@3ds.com if you prefer an email response. I pass you over to Serge now and wish you a very interesting webinar.
So let's start with the user interface enhancements. We have completely redesigned the part design panels in order for them to be more ergonomic. So you have on this slide two examples for the hole and the pad. You see on the left side the old panel look and also the new look. So we have also redesigned the preferences panel, as you can see on this slide. But you have still the possibility to come back to the legacy panels thanks to a specific preference. Why did we change the preferences panel? It's to be coherent with the online documentation. We have now the same hierarchy in the preferences and in the online documentation. We have also enhanced the action bar. It's the toolbar that you see at the bottom of your CATIA screen. So it can be now fully customized. So we have a short video illustrating those enhancements concerning the action bar. So all sections can be reordered or extracted from the main action bar, and you can move them anywhere on screen. You can even group them together to create groups of windows. You can also display several sections in the same time using the control button, as we see now. And besides, sections can be moved outside of the main CATIA window. And this is very useful when you are working with two screens. So when a section is in the floating mode, it can be easily resized, and you can dock it anywhere on your screen. So this is what we are doing now. We have two sections that are docked on the right part of the screen. Another enhancement is that when you have the action bar that is docked at the bottom of your window, you can display commands on several lines. We also improved the content customization. For example, you can create your own section. This is what you see now in the video. And you can move or duplicate existing functions inside this new section. So we are moving some functions like the measure, the fx, etc. And finally, at any time, you have the possibility to reset the section's position, the content, or both. So in this video, we will reset only the positions. So that's it for the action bar. Now let's focus on the infrastructure. We have also improvements in that domain. We have introduced a new visualization filter tool that we call the Discover tool. You will see in this video how it works. So first of all, we select a component in our current assembly. Then we activate this Discover tool, and we can make a graphical selection based on a sphere, as you see now. So we can dynamically drag the blue arrow to make the sphere bigger, or we can also work with a cube. And all the elements that are fully inside this volume or intersected by this volume will be automatically selected. We can also select the elements that are outside the volume. So once we are satisfied with our selection, we validate it, clicking the green button, and then we can continue our daily work, like for example, replaying a kinematics animation. Still on the infrastructure topic, we now support the GT format. We can import a GT file in the 3D Experience platform in order to create a new 3D part or a new product. This is direct import. You don't have a third-party license that is needed. And we support the GT version from 8 to 10. I remind you that we could already view the GT files, but only in the 3D Play viewer on the cloud. Now let's go to the Sketcher and part design improvements. We have also many interesting enhancements on that domain. For example, you can now automatically detect geometrical constraints when you create a geometry, or when you drag and snap an existing geometry to other internal or external geometry. So let's see a short video illustrating that nice capability. So we have to activate this preference, creates the geometric constraints. And now you will notice that when we drag this line extremity on the circle, the coincidence constraint is created on the fly. We can also detect constraints using background elements, meaning the elements that are outside the sketcher. This is what we are seeing now. The line extremity is coincident to an edge of the solid. Another enhancement in the sketcher is the possibility to create a tangent arc with two corners. So you just have to check the options that we see in the tools palette, and you have the choice to use a curve for locating the second corner. We also improved the trim function. In fact, you can now extrapolate a usage of a spline beyond its endpoints using the trim command. So the arc is extrapolated along the tangent at the endpoint. This is what you see on those three pictures. We have a usage mark, and we can easily extend the limit using the trim function. Before, we were able to create blend corners in generative shape design application. Now this function is also available in the part design application. You just have to select 3 faces and a specific setback value for each face, and you will create your blend corner. We are now able to manage more easily multiple thickness when you are creating shells or when you are creating the thicknesses. So let's have a look on a short video. We activate the thickness feature, and we select our surface, And then we select each sub-element, and we can specify a different value for each sub-element of the surface. And this is the result that we get when we validate the thickness function. Okay. We have also improved the assembly design application and also the 3D master domain. For example, we can now reuse assembly constraints when we copy and paste an assembly instance. In fact, we will duplicate the engineering connection and we will create relations with the new instances. This is what we see in this video. We just have to check a specific preference to get this behavior. And when we will copy and paste part 1 inside product 2, we see that we also create a new planar engineering connection. Same if we copy and paste part 1 and part 2 in the same operation, you will see that we will also duplicate the corresponding engineering connection. Concerning the assembly pattern, you are now able to delete the instances in the same time as you delete the assembly pattern. Before, you had to do it manually. So in this assembly, we have 2 assembly patterns generating all the inserts in this milling tool. And when we generate the assembly pattern, automatically it deletes also the connected assembly instances. Okay. Concerning the importing of V5 data, we now keep the V5 assembly feature specifications like the add, the remove, the hole, the split, and the pocket. So you have now the capability to import those assembly features inside the 3D experience, and all the specifications will be kept. You will be able to remove or to change properties of impacts. And this works through the FBDI or through the DBDI import. You just have to check a specific preference in order to get this behavior. We also improved the import of V5 symmetry features. So we now keep the specifications after import inside the 3D experience platform. You have here an example based on a car. Concerning the replace operation that you have in the assembly design app, we have now 2 new replace functions called replace by new revision and duplicate and replace. So it's a way to do in one shot either the revision or the duplicate operation and the replace operation. So you have here a productivity gain, when using the replace commands. Besides, we introduced a new 3D master application called CATIA 3D annotation experience. And this app is available for everyone in any mechanical design role. And it enables you to browse and to filter the existing manufacturing information annotations that you may have in your 3D models. So let's have a look on a video. We are now in Assembly Design app, and we will switch to the new app called 3D Annotation Experience. So we can activate the filter tool. It will allow us to display either all annotation sets or only specific annotation sets that are included in some specific 3D parts. So now we are activating only the annotation sets to one part or to the 2 parts. But we can also filter on annotation views and annotation captures. So you have here the complete list of captures and views that are contained inside the two 3D parts. So we finally we check all the annotation views. And the last type of filter that we can use is about the annotation themselves. You can filter on datums, on geometrical tolerances, dimensions, nodes, or construction geometries. So in this video, we will just show two parallelism geometrical tolerances. And we deactivate the dimensions, the nodes, and the construction geometries. So this is the result that we get after applying all those filters. We have also a similar application available in the web browser that can be very useful for managers that don't have any CATIA seat on their desktop. So now let's focus on our web-based applications. We have, in fact, two roles that are only available on the cloud and with a simple web browser. The first one is 3D Innovator. It brings an app called CATIA X Design. And we have also an extension role that is new in release 2019x that is called 3D Generative Innovator. So the advantage of those roles is that you can use them anywhere, anytime on any device. It can even work on a tablet. It's fully compatible with our CATIA native apps. So you can do the concept design in the XDesign app and then continue the detailed design in the classical CATIA native app. So we have improved in this release the 3D Innovator role with the CATIA XDesign app. So for example, we can now import 3D XML, CATIA V5 and SolidWorks parts and products, IGES steps. We can also export 3D XML, IGES step or STL files. We have also improved the collaboration on assembly with the possibility to lock, unlock, update or reload data. We can also do design in context. And we have also introduced new assembly patterns and features pattern like linear and circular pattern. And also we have some surface modeling tools. So I will illustrate those capabilities thanks to this short video. So first of all, we have imported a CATIA V5 product in our 3D Experience platform. So we are now working on a simple web-based browser. So we installed nothing on our computer. And we start to create the initial geometry using the XDesign application. So we can create parts, assemblies, we can do design in context, we can even optimize the geometry. We are now using mates to put in position the screws in the holes. So this is a very intuitive user interface, by the way. And now we can animate the mechanism and validate our assembly on the fly. And then finally, we can mix CATIA V5 data, imported data, and native XDesign data to create new solutions. And at the end, we can continue with the detailed design using the classical CATIA native apps. And here we validate our kinematics. We have also a new role that brings an app called CATIA X Generative Design. So it's a role extension that will allow you to design any shapes and patterns using CATIA parametric modeling technology with high level of automation. Whether you work in the 3D immersive view or in the graphical scripting interface, you can design accurate geometries through a set of logic operations defined by input and output parameters. So I will show you an example based on an escalator. So you are in fact able to generate massive structure very quickly. Here we are just modifying some main parameters that will drive the dimensions of the escalator. So we have, for example, the step length or specific offsets that we can drive, and everything is recomputed very quickly. We can change some input point parameters, some input points, sorry, and you will see that the escalator will be regenerated very quickly. So you can work with panels, but for advanced tasks, you can also use the graph that you see now. So the geometry is built by dragging components onto a canvas, and the outputs to these components are then connected to the inputs of the subsequent components. Now we are going to save this model as a step, and we will import this step file inside the CATIA native app in order to continue with the detailed design. So we create some reference points and some axis systems in order to use an assembly pattern feature. So we will insert an existing step part. It's already present in the platform, and then we just need to position it according to the first axis system. So once it's correctly positioned using engineering connections, we can create an assembly pattern in order to generate all the steps. And of course, everything will remain associative if something changes in the initial design. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you very much. There are a lot of new enhancements. And I think I have some questions for you, Serge. So the first one is, what are the advantages of these new web apps like X Generative Design and X Design?
Well, first of all, you have no installation to do. It's available anywhere, anytime. You just need a simple internet connection, and you can even use them on mobile devices.
Okay, and say, can I use X Generative Design app with a CATIA on-premise installation also?
No, in fact, it's only available with the on-the-cloud solution with a simple web-based browser.
Great. So something I may add is that you can find very interesting demonstration about the X Generative Design and X Design web apps in a previous webinar and even two previous webinars. So you can watch them in the CATIA user community. Just search for CATIA TV webinars. And well, thank you very much, Serge, for this rich presentation.
My pleasure. And
Good. And thank you, everyone, for watching this webinar and for your questions. And talk to you next time. So goodbye for now.
goodbye.